Hi, and welcome to Daybreak, and this would be the second part of Elevate Your Voice. In part one, we discussed fear and the ways to overcome it, and to know that there are just going to be bad reactions, and you're going to have to get past that hesitance, knowing that someone may reject you or even make fun of you. You're just going to have to tell anyway. Love does that. In part two, we'll talk about why people don't listen. It makes perfect sense when everyone in their lives is telling them that everything is going to be okay. Their doctors, the news, their pastor, everyone, they're saying, hey, I know life is crazy, but we're going to be fine. Let's just get back to life as usual. So here you walk in and tell them, hey, this world is crazy. The rapture is going to happen soon, and the tribulation, we're in the setup for that. When you start telling them that, of course, they're not going to believe you. But at least you can plant the seed now. You can say, hey, this is what's going on, and as they see things progress, then they will start to believe. What else can you do? We just have to get beyond the fear and step in and start talking to our friends and family. Also in this section, we're going to talk about some conversation starters. Kim and I, who works in the ministry with me, we call it having something in our pocket, meaning we rehearse lines. We talk about things that we want to discuss with other people, and we grapple with those things and make sure we really understand what we're talking about, and then have these conversation openers or these conversation starters when a conversation opportunity presents itself. Like if we're with a family member out at a birthday party, whatever, just say, hey, what do you think about this last couple of years, and kind of see where they stand, and then go from there. But we have some ideas for you, just a list of ideas. You can find what seems most helpful for you, what sounds most like you, and that way you can practice those conversation starters and even have some follow-up ideas. Like if they react in a particular way, then you can we've given you some ideas. Well, how do you follow up with that? So I hope that's helpful. I hope that's beneficial. I know it has been for me, and it has been for Kim. We've both used some of these conversation starters. That's where the list has come from. And then after the fact, we've talked about, well, how did that go? How did it work out? What was successful and what wasn't? And that's where this list has come from. So I hope that'll be beneficial for you. So for the remainder of the video, what I'll talk about is my failures. I have failed with a neighbor, I have failed with friends, I have failed with people in the world, and life has still gone on. I mean, I realize it. I don't like it. I don't like that I didn't do a very good job, but the fact is I did my best, and at the time, I didn't really know what I was doing. It was in the early part of when COVID was going on, and I was seeing what was happening. I told too much. That's one thing that I'll cover in the written portion is don't tell too much. Just tell what you need to get started, and then try to build a bridge and discuss more later. But so with my neighbor, it was the summer of 2020, and I was really seeing, I was just starting to watch Pastor JD, and look, I'm struggling with a puppy here, so we've just got to make do. But I was watching Pastor JD, and I was understanding about the World Economic Forum and all that was going on. And so I just kept thinking, I've got to tell everyone I know. So a neighbor was here with her son. She brought him over to swim, and so I wasn't going out very much, but I would just go say hi to her and sit down and say a few things. And I think, okay, I've got to tell her. So I don't even remember what all I said. I know I unloaded completely, and just everything I knew at the time. She's a believer. She's a professing believer. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, she's seeing this too. We can talk about this. So the next summer came, and I saw her outside, and I said, hey, you should bring Cole over. And she said, okay, sure. So then the summer went. This is all of 2021, the summer, and she never came over. She never called and asked to come over. So I thought, well, they're busy. So by the end of the summer, I saw this little tiny kiddie pool out behind their house. That's where he was swimming. So rather than coming over to the lunatic's house and swimming in a big, nice, clean swimming pool, they were in a little kiddie pool. That's how crazy she thought I was, I guess. I don't know what else I can say, but I did speak the truth, but I spoke too much truth. So that's your warning. Build a bridge, and don't come off like a lunatic. Learn how to say things properly and learn your audience. I didn't do that. I just assumed that she would want to know everything I had to say. So then another is a time with a friend. I had a friend over to visit for the day, and we were having a good time, and I I don't know, it was like, okay, I saw my moment and I just said everything. And I just hit her with both barrels. Now, this is a woman I know is a true follower of Jesus. I know she has been taught on the book of Revelation. I know she knows what the rapture is and what life is going to look like as we get closer, because she knows what the tribulation is. So I told her all of these things. And she just kind of left googly-eyed. And I noticed after that, every time I saw her, like from afar, it would be like, hey, how are you? But there was something that happened to that relationship that I saw was different. And I know she sees me as some kind of lunatic fringe person now. And I just can't help that. Now, did I do it right? No, but I at least stepped out there. So you can learn from my failures and just not say quite so much. So then finally there is Emilio. He has done my pest control for years and years, and so I always make it a point to go out and say something to him. One time he mentioned, he said, people will just kind of wave at me through the window and they never really come out and talk. And I thought, I want to be different than that. I want to build this bridge with him, because from our conversations, I would say he was not a believer. I don't know that for sure, but I didn't think so. So I was, every month I would go out and say a few things. We even talked about grandkids and kids and just things happening in our lives. And I just wanted to build that kind of bridge. So by the time 2020 happened, and COVID was I think we were still probably in the later summer months, and so things were just things were still uncertain for a lot of people. It wasn't uncertain for me. I knew where we were, so I let Emilio know. I told him all of this stuff. Told him about the rapture. Told him about the World Economic Forum and what the tribulation would be like, and so he just stopped and he said, he said, there's another lady who's been telling me about that. And so to me, that was my invitation to say even more, because I told him, I said, you know what? God is really after you. He is really in hot pursuit. If he has two people in your life telling you the same thing, then he really wants you to know this. And he nodded and he seemed to somewhat, embrace or accept what I was saying. So the next month came and I got a message. It said, hey, this is Randy. I'm coming to do your service. It was a text message. And I thought, well, where's Emilio? Emilio has never been back. So after years of doing my service, then this one conversation, he was just done with me. So I have to say that on the heels of our last portion, our last part where I was talking about fear, there will be times you will be rejected because of this. But we have to love them enough to accept their rejection or their ridicule. We have to love them. Love does that. Love speaks up even when the person might reject what you have to say. And I can't say this enough, that rejection may only be right now, because as things intensify we're seeing more and more. We have coming food shortages, and we're seeing the increase in prices in fuel that are insane, and hyperinflation all across the board. I mean, as people see more, they will start thinking, now I remember they said this is what to expect. I say this probably too often, but our success is in our obedience. Our success isn't necessarily in how people react or respond to what we say, but if we are obedient and following what the Lord tells us to do and say, then we have been successful, and we have to just leave it in His hands. There's an image that has come to mind for years now, and it is of me dusting my hands of a person. Now, I don't mean rejecting them, but I mean just, the Lord's hand is under mine. I dust my hand into His, and then He takes it from there. I'm the seed planter. He goes and waters the seed. He follows along that person. He waters the seed. And one final thing is that I have a section on my website called Updates. I intend going forward to put something there weekly, whether it's something that I watch. I do have a section on my main page where it's week in review. Things I watch, videos I watch or articles I read. I try to put those links there so you can kind of keep up on some of the latest happenings. But I will put that now on this update section, so you can find those there. Or if I release videos, if I release any more series information, everything is going to be there. The reason I say go check it out is because there's a subscribe section there. We're having some issues. We're on a phone right now. If you go there, it's not visible at the top, so we're working through that. But if you're on a laptop or a desktop, when you click updates, you go to daybreak.team, and you click updates. It's like in the navigation field, click updates, and then you'll see to the right of whatever the latest release is, it says subscribe, which will allow you to put your email. But that is the only way that I'm communicating outgoing. I'm not doing any other things through social media. That's just something I've chosen not to be a part of. So anyway, okay, I hope this all helps. I hope you will take what you've learned about yourself and about how God sees you and his plan for you. I hope you will take those things and do something with it. It doesn't have to be massive. You don't have to be up on a stage yelling at people, but in your daily conversations and in your interactions with other people, you can start planting seeds and letting them know, hey, we're seeing the sun going down on our world as we know it. And so anyway, I encourage you to speak up, speak out, get out there and warn the lost and wake the found. God bless you, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks.